It happens here in Worcester. Named after Worcester, England. And speaking of England, if you're a fan of the Beatles, you might want to thank radio station WORC, as they were the first station in the U.S. to play a Beatles song. Your sweet tooth has probably been satisfied by this Worcester invention. If baseball is your thing, you're probably excited that the Paw Sox will soon become the Woo Sox as the Red Sox AAA team moves to Worcester in 2021. Worcester is also the birthplace of a sport that is uniquely New England. Candlepin bowling. If you grew up in New England, candlepin is bowling. But lately, it may seem as if this peculiar sport that never really spread far from its New England roots is dwindling in popularity. Maria Angelotti is working to preserve the sport's history and legacy.
Around the turn of the century, a gentleman named Justin Pop White quit his job and bought a bowling center. In a little closet tucked away, he found a box with 10-inch broomsticks and a 3-inch ball. And he thought, you know what, this might be kind of challenging. So he put them on his lanes, and the rest is history. John Monsey, he was crucial in promoting the game, but also standardizing it. He was the one who came up with the 4.5-inch balls, which are still in play today.
Although the smaller pins made the game more challenging, the smaller balls made it more appealing to young children and older people. But it faced challenges early on.
In order to set up these pins, once they were all knocked down, you had to have a person doing it. So the bowling alleys had pin boys sitting above the lanes, and they would set up the pins every time the balls were thrown. During World War I, all the pin boys were sent away to war. So pin girls started.
Eventually, the scarcity of pin setters led to the invention of the Bowlmore, an automatic pin setting machine created by Howard Dowd and Lionel Barrow. Although theirs wasn't actually the first, it proved to be the best, and those early Bowlmore machines are still in use throughout New England.
It solved one problem, but it created another, damage to the bowling ball.
Bob Perella talks about his father Emilio's invention.
So he actually invented the repairing process of bowling balls that made the balls like new again.
And as the sport grew, Emilio Perella turned his attention from fixing bowling balls to just making a better one. The paramount candlepin bowling ball was born. And once again, the sport was saved for a new generation, the TV generation. And nobody knows more about candlepin on TV than Mike Morin. Mike, when did candlepin even start to be on TV?
A lot of people are going to be surprised to hear that it was 1958. And it was a show that was called Fun for All Ages, Candlepin Bowling.
Why do you think this captured the imagination and became such a big hit on television?
When it was suddenly seen on TV every week and viewed by hundreds of thousands of people, suddenly it got everybody all excited about the game and made them want to go out and go bowling. It's basically a three-step approach. Oh! Now I hit the pins right in the middle, which you would think would take them all down, but this game is so quirky that you can leave 5 pins after hitting the head pin. Yeah!
Unlike traditional 10-pin, candlepin is so quirky that although a perfect game of 300 is possible, the highest score ever is 245. Recorded first by Ralph Semb of Irving, Mass. in 1984. Then, 27 years later, in 2011, by Haverhill native Chris Sargent. Tell me about the stars of candlepin bowling. They became stars, these guys, on TV.
They literally became celebrities. As soon as the show hit in 1958, they became as big as some of the major league sports stars. There's one bowler, he's considered the greatest of all time, Tommy Olsta. They named him the Larry Bird of candlepin bowling, and wherever he would go, he would be recognized.
Despite the fact that candlepin's heyday is in the past, the sport continues to thrive, and that gives people like Mike Morin hope for the future of the sport.
There aren't going to be any bowling centers that open up just for bowling. You won't see those kinds of centers come up anymore.
Not like this.
Not like this. This is a throwback, but what a jewel Colonial Bowl is.
It Happens Here is driven by your New England Chevy dealers.